Hi, and welcome, or hopefully welcome back to Taking the Lead, where I get the opportunity to interview various leaders, mostly from the PR and marketing communications world, but not about PR and marketing really, about leadership. And I'm so thrilled to introduce to you a good friend. We've been part of one another's history for a long time now. And as I give you her bio, you'll see what I mean. So this is Grace Leong. She is CEO and partner of Hunter, an integrated marketing and PR firm, which is in two continents, North America and Europe. She is a seasoned marketing communicator, 25 plus years experience, very successful, and not just PR, she has an MBA. The agency has truly won a closet full of awards, but she always says the most important one to her is top places to work in PR. And I agree completely. And she's been doing all of that by raising four kids. She is the work-life balance queen. One last thought before I turn it over to her. She is the first recipient of the Hal Kearse Memorial Scholarship at the University of Delaware at Newark, and Hal was one of my first bosses and mentors. And she's only had one boss, the iconic glass ceiling breaker, Barbara Hunter, who was also one of my first bosses. So to say we go back is an understatement. Grace Leong, welcome to Taking the Lead.
Ken, for you, anything. Yes, our lives are intertwined. What he forgot to mention is you were one of my first bosses as well. Barbara Hunter was my boss, but remember, you were my boss too. And I learned a lot about leadership from you. So thank you for having me on the show.
You're very kind. Okay, let's dig right in. So we have all been through a lot lately. Here we are in the fall. This stuff is all going to continue. But what are the three most important things you've done as a leader that have allowed you to lead your teams since this COVID-19 explosion in March?
Yeah, I think, we're communicators, so we know what to do in these situations. And the first thing you have to do in a crisis situation is communicate. So communication has never been more important. Communicate every day, every hour, it seemed, was one of the most important. Ramp up the communication. Secondly, transparency. Even if you don't know the answer, just say, I don't know the answer. But be transparent every single day. What our staffers were looking for us to share is any information we had, even if it was, I don't have any information. And then finally, consistency. You can't just take a day off in a crisis. You have to be consistent. You have to be communicative, and you have to be transparent, and you have to be consistent. And that gives people a sense of calm. Communication is so powerful when it's delivered consistently and transparently, and it brings that stress levels down, and it brings people to a sense of calm. And I think that's what we were able to do successfully through the last 6 months.
It's interesting because communications, transparency, consistency are among the hallmarks of great leadership, but they have been proven so much more important now. And I think they're going to continue to be important as we get through all of this. So to that end, clearly these uncertain times will be with us for a while longer. We don't know how long. We don't know what that new normal will look like. So what are the most important things leaders can do now and for this long haul?
Well, I think, if you've been doing it well with the consistency and the communications and transparency, you got to continue to do it. You can't stop and now, oh, I'm done with this, it's over. You've showed them you can do it. You got to keep doing it, and you've got to be comfortable that that's the space you've now lived into and it becomes the new normal. I think the second biggest thing that leaders can do is take a break. We've been under tremendous stress of taking care of clients and staffers. And the last people that leaders always take care of is themselves. And without taking a break from the pressures of being a leader, you're not a good leader. And you're not also setting a good example for leaders who are looking to you to teach them how to be leaders. So keep doing what you're doing, consistency, transparency, and communication, but also know you can take a break, and you must take a break in order to be effective for the long run.
Absolutely. And we discuss this with leaders, and we say it's kind of like when you're on the airplane and they say, if the masks come down, put your mask on first before your traveling companions. But your cup has to be full to serve others. So I'm so glad you made
You
that.
need strength, and the only place you can find that strength is through rest and relaxation and rejuvenation. And those are three different things: rest, relaxation, and rejuvenation. You have to have a bit of both because they're not the same thing in order to go back into the ring and deliver that consistency, communications, and transparency. It's a hard job.
Yeah.
It's very physical as well as mental.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And people are exhausted now, I think. I think
Yes, sir.
somehow they thought they were going to get through and something magical would happen in the fall, back to school. It's like, and we're realizing this is for the long haul. And I think a lot of our people are exhausted. And I think people who are doing fine during the crisis portion are having trouble with the, oh my gosh, this may not end for a while. So I think your points are really well taken. So let's talk about something not exactly COVID-19 related, but a question I like to ask a lot of leaders. What for you are the differences between management and leadership?
Yeah, they're two very, very different things. And, I have a lot of great managers. I only have a few very good leaders. They're used interchangeably. Oh, if I'm a good leader, I'm a good manager. I'm a good manager, I'm a good leader. Absolutely, that's incorrect. Leaders, it's almost like an innate sacrifice, and it's putting yourself forward, right? It's about personal self and, instinctively wanting to take the mantle and find the vision and lead people. Managers is a learned skill. To be a manager, anyone can learn to be a manager, but it's not something that involves too much personal investment, whereas a leader is very much of a personal investment kind of value more than a skill. So I don't like when they get mixed together, because I don't feel that leaders are good managers and managers are not only good leaders. So um, yeah, so just leaders are make the choice to be leaders, and they sacrifice and they give up for others, whereas managers learn to manage what's in front of them but not necessarily give up to lead. And I think that's an important distinction. And I tell people, oh, I want to be a leader. No, I think maybe what you want to do is be a manager, because
Mhm.
that's what you want to do. You want to manage a situation. And then what I try and do is find leaders who are managers and say, you're wasting your time here. You're a much better leader than you are a manager. You just have to, you know, you like to invest yourself. You have a vision. People like to follow you. You're just an instinctive leader. So leave the management and become a leader.
That's such a great point. They are different skills. I think in our industry, we sometimes make the mistake of promoting people into leadership just because they've been great managers or great PR
And
people.
then what happens? Can they fail, right?
They
Because to
fail.
lead requires a whole set of different skills that really have nothing to do with management. They
Yeah.
have everything to do with leading. And that means setting an example. That means sacrifice. That means having a vision. That means being a risk taker. That means being the last person to turn off the lights. Very different skill set than a manager.
You
And,
bet.
and I think some people, to your point, many people get promoted in our industry when they're not ready to lead, and they should stay with management, because we need those great folks too.
There's nothing wrong with it. Let's get the right bodies in the right seats. The organization will benefit, and you'll be much happier. If you're meant to be a manager, be a manager. You'll have a fulfilled life and career. And if you're meant to be a leader, you know,
Then raise
you
your
have to,
hand.
you have to, yeah. I mean, I always say that leadership is a two-part choice, one of which you raised, your conscious decision to lead, not just manage, and your people's decision to follow you, because they don't have to follow you. They can come in every day, they can do the work, check it off the to-do list sort of thing, the checkbox. But to really follow you is a decision they make based on your stepping up and your behavior. So it
that's
has to
that's
be, it
very
has to
true.
be earned. So good. This just flew by. I thought it might. Thank you for your inspiration. I'm never shocked to hear of your success, but I enjoy hearing about it. So
Well,
thank
as I
you.
said, I've had a lot of good leaders come before me, Mr. Ken Jacobs. So
You're
I
very,
thank you. I thank you.
she's being way too kind, but
Okay.
if
Yeah. All
we
right. But
we can
your
believe that if we want. No,
your
thank you very
listeners know what I'm saying.
much. All right,
All
folks. We'll
right.
see you next time. Thank you, Grace Leong.
Okay. Anytime. Thank you.